So before I just dive right into this movie, I gotta say a couple things. One, this is a spoiler-free review. I'm gonna try to do a spoiler review probably Monday, and do a ranking video of all the Spider-Man movies probably Tuesday. And second, I just really need to get out of this shirt for a second, so if you don't mind, just be a quick second, don't worry. There we go. I've always wanted one of these, and now I have a reason to wear one. So thanks for that. So Spider-Man No Way Home was directed by Jon Watts, and it stars Tom Holland, Benedict Cumberbatch, Zendaya, Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina, Jamie Foxx, just a whole slew of people. And it's about Peter Parker after the events of Far From Home. His identity was revealed, and now he kind of just wishes that nobody knew his secret identity. So he goes to Doctor Strange, hopefully to conduct some sort of spell that makes everyone forget that he was Spider-Man. And unfortunately, there's several cracks, and basically villains from all the previous Spider-Man movies, not from this universe, but from previous Spider-Man incarnations, just appear in his universe, and that's all I'm going to say about this movie. So I don't consider that a spoiler because it was in the trailer, and I'm going to try to keep things, at least stuff that was revealed in the trailers, in this review, and that's not going to be easy. So this was a movie I was really looking forward to. I was really thinking about a lot of, like, what was going to happen with this movie. Brought back a whole bunch of villains I really liked, villains I really hated, and just villains I kind of felt iffy about. And also, I was kind of nervous about this movie too because of that, because, like, every time a Spider-Man movie introduces so many villains in a movie, it just doesn't work. It didn't work in Spider-Man 3, didn't work in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and so we have this movie with a whole bunch of villains and how are they going to connect to the MCU and all that. So I went and saw this movie last night, and I kind of waited a little bit before reviewing it because I didn't know how to review this movie without spoiling it. So I'm going to do this as best as I can without revealing anything. And all I'm going to say is this. I'm going to see this movie again. This movie is really good. This may be my favorite Spider-Man movie, at least in this version of the character. I think this is the best made movie, the most resonant movie, the most emotionally impactful movie. Everything about this movie is phenomenal. Well, almost everything. I'll get into that. So, what works in this movie? Well, the performances, for the most part, are really good. I really like Tom Holland this time. That's not really a surprise. I think he's been really good in the character. But this may be his best performance as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I thought he was really good. Zendaya, I thought she was really good too. I loved her chemistry with Peter, and I also like her more screen presence in this movie than she has in the previous movies. Also really liked how they kind of work off each other. They worked really well. Also, Benedict Cumberbatch, he was really good. Doesn't, unfortunately, have a whole lot, but, you know, for what he did, he was really good. And let's get to the villains. Most of the villains I actually really liked. The three main ones were Willem Dafoe, Alfred Molina, and Jamie Foxx. They're the ones that are kind of mostly in the previews. And their performances are really good. Also, I actually really like Jamie Foxx, even though I kind of had a little issue with him. Mainly, it felt like his performance in Baby Driver a bit. But I still liked him, mainly because he was better than he was in Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'll say that. Also, as far as the other performers go, I guess Marisa Tomei was also really good in this movie. I didn't really buy her as Aunt May that much, but her performance here, it's really good. And the action sequences are really good. The one on the bridge you kind of see in the trailer. You know, you gotta have a little bit of Green Goblin, you got a little bit of Dr. Octopus, and those action scenes are really good. There's one apartment complex that's really awesome, and I really like the themes and tones of this movie throughout the entire movie. It's like, they work really well. It's like, they kind of mature it enough, and it's definitely a more of a mature take on Spider-Man, and it works, unlike something like, say, Amazing Spider-Man, which didn't really work for me. I'll get into that in another video. But it really works as like a more mature movie in this universe, but at the same time it still keeps to that spirit of Spider-Man. I really like that. And I'll say it again, it's probably my favorite of this version of Spider-Man. It was really well done. I thought it was really well handled. The themes worked. A lot of the performances are really good. The action scenes are really good. Well, for the most part. I'll get to that. And I'm definitely seeing this one again. I can't really say that for the other two, which, you know, I have them on Blu-ray, but I didn't see them again in theaters. This one I need to see again in theaters. And let's talk about some things I didn't really care for. There were a couple editing choices that I didn't really care for, like some actors are not in the same shots, and I feel like that was mostly a COVID thing. And there are some creative choices that I felt like that didn't make sense to me, which I'll explain a lot more in the spoiler review. But overall, I had a blast with this movie. This movie's a lot of fun. The performances are great. The action's great. It works as a mature story, which while still being Spider-Man, it was really fun. It was really impactful. I will admit to tearing up a bit. And that's all I can really say, because pretty much everything else I want to say about this movie is a spoiler, and I don't want to do that. I want to talk about this movie with a whole bunch of spoilers, and I'm not going to do that until probably after this weekend. So I definitely would recommend No Way Home, especially if you like this version of Spider-Man, and also if you just like Spider-Man in general. This movie's a really awesome movie. I will see it again in theaters, without a doubt. I'm going to give, I don't know, I want to give it 3.5 out of 4, but right now I'm only going to give it 3 out of 4 stars to see it. So, what did you think of No Way Home? What's your favorite Spider-Man movie? Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and with great power comes great responsibility.